Hey there, welcome to Live by Design, a place where I hope you'll find content that is informative, inspiring, and insightful. I'm your host, Muadi. I'm a life strategist and a transformational speaker, and today is Monday, June 8th, 2015. How are you? I hope all is well in your world. It most certainly is in mine. I am taping today from the lovely Washington, D.C., where Mother Nature has finally decided to get her act together and get on the program with this weather. I'm happy to say that it's a lovely 80 degrees out today. I got to wear a sundress, and I'm kind of happy about that. I didn't complain that much this winter. I'm really proud of myself about that. But boy, am I grateful for the weather that we're having right now. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a minute. I've been busy. A lot of stuff is going on in my life right now. I'm getting ready to go to teacher training for hot yoga in a couple of months. Running in or walking really quickly in the third annual Shape Up with Shaumba 10K walk and run to stomp out childhood obesity that's happening on the 21st in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm getting ready, my first live webinar just for you. So there's a lot of really exciting things going on in my life right now, all of which are designed actually to allow me to be of better service to you. But that's neither here nor there because I'm here right now and I'm glad to be here with you. Today I want to talk about, how can I put this tactfully? There's not a really good way to say it. Well, complaining, for want of a better word. Today we are talking about this habit that has become really prevalent in this culture in particular, of just chronic complaining, whining, just, there's another word that I would use, but this is a clean show, so I'm not going to use that word, but y'all know what I mean. This habit that we have, almost an addiction, I would say, that we have in this society anyway. This is where I live, so this is what I know, about just complaining about everything, complaining about nonsensical things that really don't matter, that really aren't even that significant or important when you think about the grand scheme of life. But for some reason, we as a culture, as a society, have become addicted to this habit of complaining. I think of it as a disease because once you get into that state of complaining, it really takes you out of a state of resourcefulness, and it also zaps your energy and the energy of everybody around you. So much so that I have a rule. I don't get down with complainers, and I tell everybody that I will gladly come to a pity pause and support you in your pause, but I politely decline any and all invitations to your pity parties. I don't roll like that. I don't have that kind of time, and I don't have that kind of energy. And I don't think that you do either. But if we're not careful and we're not aware of how we talk, where we put our focus, what we tell ourselves in our mind, complaining can really take us over, so much so that we miss out on just the actual joy of being alive. So here's an example. A couple of weeks back, as we all know, the Amtrak train derailed between Philadelphia and New York, and 8 people were killed on that accident during that tragedy. Hundreds more were injured. Now, I travel on that corridor that's called the Northeast Corridor at least 2 or 3 times a month. So it really is just by the grace of God, the divine, and all of my ancestors that I was not on that train or traveling on that particular day. Turns out, though, that I had planned to travel from D.C. because I was in D.C. when the train actually crashed. I was planning to travel from D.C. to Boston for a speaking engagement. We had graduations and all this really fun stuff that happened in Boston. So by the time I got ready to make my train reservation, all the buses from DC to Boston were just completely booked and sold out. The airlines are taking major advantage of this tragedy, as they sometimes do. So the prices were just out of this world. And so I was pretty stuck, and I didn't know how I was going to get from DC to Boston in time for the speaking engagement. And so did a little bit of research, and I realized that I could actually take the train and the bus and a couple of other, like a camel and a rickshaw, to get to Boston. And I told myself that whatever it takes for me to get there, I'm so grateful that I'm alive. I'm so grateful that I was not on that train, that I am not going to complain about one piece of the ride. So this is how I ended up getting from DC to Boston. My brother would drop me off at the train. So I took the car to Amtrak at Washington, D.C. From there, I took the Amtrak to Penn Station, Philadelphia. Got off at Penn Station, Philadelphia. Took their light commuter rail to Trenton, New Jersey. Took a shuttle bus from Trenton, New Jersey from West Trenton over to Trenton. Then when we got to Trenton, took New Jersey Transit to get into Penn Station, New York City. From there, I walked a couple of blocks to take the megabus and got on a megabus and got home to Boston. It ended up taking me about maybe 14 hours total with all the pauses and the so forth and so on. But I had told myself, Muadi, be grateful your behind was not on that train that crashed, and you were going to go from D.C. to Boston without complaining one single word. And that's exactly what I did. I packed all my food, because, got to travel with my food. Had a couple of falafel sandwiches when I was in New York, too. It was so good. But anyway, had my food, had my laptop, had my music, everything was charged, had my headphones, had all my flat shoes, had a small carrying case, and I was good to go. And so here I am. I'm on my way to D.C. I'm on my way to New York, and everything's cool. Get to Trenton, got there fine, had to get on the shuttle bus. Now, to get to the shuttle bus, we had to go underneath this underpass and get up on the other side of these tracks. And it was a little bit of a treacherous kind of experience, but it was all right. It was all good. Get on the bus. The shuttle bus, getting ready to go, into New Jersey Transit, and all of a sudden, these three women get on. Woo! Complained so much. They complained from the moment their little big toes got on that bus to the time we disembarked in New Jersey to get on the New Jersey Transit. Complained about the fact that it was so hot. Complained about the fact that they had to walk so much. And Amtrak got them all messed up. They can't believe this. And they just complained, now we're going to be late. And they're going on and on and on and on. And by this time, I have my headphones on. I can still hear them. And because I'm nosy, y'all know I'm nosy, I turned my headphones down because I really wanted to hear what these women had to say. And all the while that they were complaining, I kept thinking to myself, there are 8 people who have died who would be grateful to be in this situation right now and have this situation of being inconvenienced rather than not being on this earth. There are hundreds more people who are injured who would rather be dealing with the inconvenience of taking a couple extra shuttle buses, right, than having to be in the hospital and dealing with the long recovery process that they have, right? Instead of being grateful that they were alive, these women spent the entire 20-minute ride on that shuttle bus, almost said it, complaining and whining, and it almost drove me to the brink. So much so that I was this close from taking off my headphones and just going to town about gratitude, etc. But then I caught myself because I was going to do it. Y'all know I would. I've done it before, but I caught myself, and I said to myself, self. That's what I say to myself. I said, self, if the death of 8 people and the injuring of hundreds more is not a big enough incident to compel these women to stop complaining even for a moment and live through gratitude and have gratitude and appreciation for the fact that they're still alive on this earth. There is nothing that you can say, there are no words of wisdom that you can pull out that will in any way shift them. So keep your mouth shut. Mind your spiritual business, and you get to where you need to go. And that's exactly what I did. I could not be bothered. But I did from that moment all the way when I got back to Boston and throughout my stay. Even now, it still really hits me really hard to think that these women would be so ungrateful and so blind to the fact that rather than complaining about the fact that they had to walk a little extra, and some of them needed to walk. That's right, I said it. Walk a little bit extra and maybe take 15, 20 minutes out of their day. They should be grateful that they have the privilege to be alive, given the fact that the reason why we're being so inconvenienced was because there was an accident that took the lives of many and wounded many more. Life, we hear this all the time, and people are always saying, oh, you should be grateful and have gratitude, and it almost comes to a point of being a cliche, but it's the truth. We've got one shot on this planet. You've got one shot in this incarnation. There will never be another time on this planet where you will be here in this moment. And once it's over, it's done. It's a wrap. At least on this planet, at least in this incarnation. Now, if you believe in the afterlife, and if you believe, as I believe, that our soul moves on, we know that there's something that comes after this. But right now, in this moment, this is all we've got. So my question to you is, Would you rather spend the time that you have complaining about your life, or I'm hoping that you go for the or, would you rather spend your time enjoying this life? Making the most of what you got, making the most of this opportunity, making the most of this time. If you're going to complain about something, and we all get in that moment where we have to vent, where we just don't feel good about something, or someone's getting on our nerves. So I'm not saying that we have to go through this life like Mother Teresa, this Pollyanna attitude. That's the furthest thing from what I'm trying to get. We all have those moments. But when you look at your life, the full arc of your life, and you realize that those moments are just a snapshot in time, they're just a moment in time over the whole arc of your life, then you have to ask yourself, is it worth the complaining, the chronic complaining, the extensive whining that we do for small little insignificant things that really only take up a moment in time of the whole arc of our life? We complain about our jobs. We complain about our relationships. We complain about our weight. We complain about a whole host of things. And the reality is that 99% of the things about which we complain are things that we can change. If you don't like your job, you can change it. If you don't like where you live, you can move. You're not a rock. You're not a mountain. You're mobile. You've got feet. You've got legs. Or you've got some way of moving around. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't even have to stay who you are. 90% of the things that we complain about are things that are within our power to change. But we're so addicted to the complaining, and we're so addicted to what's comfortable, that we refuse to really open our eyes, take responsibility for our life, and do the work that is necessary to change. It's easier to complain about the day-to-day grind. It's easier to complain, and so we think, about our husband or our wife or our significant other or our boss or all the things we complain about. Easier to complain about those things than it is to get up off our backside, commit to doing the work, and create a change. But guess what? I got news. Here's the good news. It may seem easier at first, but once you do the work, once you commit, once you make the decision that you've had enough, you're tired of being broke, you're tired of being unhappy, you're tired of being sick, you're tired of whatever it is that you're tired of. Once you make the decision and you start to move slowly, ever so slowly, towards that vision that you have for yourself of a better life, the complaining, you get sick of it. You don't want to hear it anymore. And it becomes something that's so foreign to you that when you hear yourself complaining, you freeze up. When I hear myself complaining or getting to that space where I get to woe is me, I snap myself up. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to be around myself when I'm complaining. I most certainly don't want to be around others when they're doing it. We have the capacity to change almost every aspect of your life. And if you can focus on changing that 90% of the things that are changeable about you, that are changeable about your life, that 1% that may be beyond your control, you'll be better able to manage that. Because when you stop complaining, we get into a state of resourcefulness. And from a state of resourcefulness, we are better able to find solutions to our problems. But when you stay in that space of chronic complaining, it creates an energy, it creates a mindset, it creates a stalemate within you that keeps you stuck. And the more you complain about whatever it is that you're complaining about, the more you have to complain about, period. So this is my intention for myself, and this is what I want to encourage you to do this week. Pay attention to your language. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Pay attention how you speak to others, and pay attention to how people in your crew speak to you. If you are someone who has the habit of complaining, I want to challenge you to spend the next 5 days, just the next 5 days, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just these 5 business days, don't utter one word of complaint. That's my challenge. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. The complaining does not do anything. You cannot complain your way out of a problem. You cannot complain yourself into a raise. You cannot complain yourself into a better relationship. All of those things take work and commitment and resourcefulness. And while you are stuck in your complaining, you can't find solutions to your problems. So that's my challenge to you for this week. Just 5 days, you all. No complaining. And if you feel yourself complaining, you got to start over. Just pay attention to what you say to yourself, the thoughts that you keep in your mind, and what you allow to be said to you, about you, around you. You have the capacity to have the life that you wanted. that you really want, and you have the capacity to bring about significant change in your world. We can't control everything, but there are things within our lives that we can control. And if we stopped complaining about them and got to the business about changing them, working on them, improving on them, we would be amazed. You would be amazed of just how much better your life can be. Okay, that's my message this week. Let's stop the complaining and let's pick up some solutions. 99% of the things about what you complain are within your control to change. And I believe that you can do that. I believe that I can do that. And I believe that if you make the decision to do that, your life will just be so much better. So much more, so much so that you'll be a joy to be around. And people will either flock to you, or if you're somebody who complains a lot and you stop complaining, they'll flock away from you. Either way, you still win. Okay, listen. I want you to have a fabulous week this week. I have a lot of events and things that I'm doing. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, on my website. I hope to see you at some of my events this summer. I hope to see you at Shape Up's Walk on the 21st in Boston this month. And if I don't see you then, hopefully I'll see you around. And when I do see you, I'm going to give you a great big hug. But in the meantime, have a fabulous week. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And I'll see you soon. Bye.